I want you to talk a bit about the role of the consultant in the industry nowadays, because a lot of stuff is being outsourced, a lot of knowledge is not necessarily needed all the time, full time within an organisation, and sometimes the easiest way of sharing that information is through consultants. So what's the role of the security consultant?
It is about specialist knowledge. To some extent it is also about bringing an external view. We talked previously about the benefits of diversity. Well, at some times, in an organisation, groupthink can prevail, and that can be dangerous for any organisation. And so a consultant can, if he or she is competent, can actually bring a divergence of view. And because they hopefully are a specialist in their field, they can bring together the latest thinking, whether that is from academia, whether that's from government or from other organisations. And in doing so, hopefully they refresh the thinking within the organisation and allow it to re-examine some of its practices. Some of my greatest successes with organisations have been in terms of asking them why they're doing a particular process. What's the benefit for doing that process? What's the cost of doing that process? And for instance, I was working with a government agency on their personnel security, and we had to rethink about what their processes were. And in fact, what happened was that they were using the external agency to do their personnel security, but their internal HR processes were on paper doing all the things and more that they should have been doing. In emphasising to them the benefits of actually ensuring that the processes within their HR organisation were robust and that they were accountable, they could minimise the use of the external agency, saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars, which they could then put on to a more beneficial risk minimisation process, which was aftercare of their personnel security. The consultant understands his or her field. He or she, he in my case, brings to the organisation that new thinking, brings to them the thinking of other organisations. I feel that the big pressure on me is to be well read and understanding what the field is and be well connected with what other organisations are.
Your company called Resilient Outcomes, so you're not necessarily a security manager. What's the difference there?
Resilience, I suppose, is about the organisational longevity. It's about organisational strategy. Most organisations do not live very long. More organisations are not around than are around. And if, for instance, you look at the New York Stock Exchange, the time that an organisation lives, if you consider an organisation having a lifespan, is getting shorter and shorter. What I'm trying to do is help organisations with their resilience. And in doing so, I help them think about adaptability as an organisation to the changing world, to the brittleness of our information society and such like. And so that's why the organisation is called Resilience Outcomes. I see that security is part of resilience. It is an adjunct onto it. It is not the whole piece.